Good morning, everybody. This is Danny from Deepsouth Homestead. We're back out here on the high sidewall, high tunnel. And guys, we've got everything ready now. It's time for the plastic. And when we put the plastic on, we're going to use a product called wiggle wire. Now this wiggle wire here is nothing more than just wire that's bent in a wiggle form like this. I don't know any other way to put it. And I'm going to show you a little bit about how to install it. Now there's no plastic in here. This is just a little tutorial. You just basically stick the first side in, and it's just basically it's a rocking motion. You let it go in, you rock it over, you rock it back, you rock it over, rock it back, and you rock, and it's so on up through there, and it leaves it like this right here. Now this is after your plastic is on it, which would be a little bit more difficult with the plastic in there, but I wanted to give you the general concept of how it installs. Now to take it out is simply the same process. You just move over, move back, move over, move back, move over, back, and it comes out. Really a simple system for installing plastic on a high tunnel or a greenhouse. So I want to give you that little tutorial before we actually start. Okay, now that we've explained the wiggle wire and the wiggle wire track and showed you what it was, guys, we're fixing to install the end walls first. That's what you want to do. You want your end wall plastic to be over, and then your greenhouse plastic to actually go over the top of that. That creates a watertight seal, so when it rains, water doesn't get in the greenhouse. Now, this is a little bit different end wall construction than you would see on a normal high tunnel or a normal greenhouse. This is a custom built one, so the installation of the plastic may be a little different, and it may be a little bit more difficult to do, but nevertheless, we're going to get it done. All right, we have successfully got the first end on. We left about 6 to 8 inches, sometimes a foot, depending on how the scissors cut, overhang of plastic on the inside in there. Now guys, I want to show you some things. You're going to need a pair of lineman pliers. You're going to need a pair of wire cutters or side cutters. And you're going to need a really big screwdriver with kind of a not too sharp of an end on it there, because you're going to have it in order to be able to snip the wiggle wire with. And this lineman pliers helps you kind of, at the very end of the wiggle wire, sometimes it's hard to get it to go in there, and it kind of helps you to put it in there. So remember, you're going to need these 3 tools when you do this. So it took us about an hour to put this end on, and it's really an unusual build, and I figured that's why it took so long. So now we're going to move down to the other end of the greenhouse, and we're going to try to get that end on. And it shouldn't be as bad, but you never know. Okay guys, it is 9:15 in the morning. We've only got the 2 ends up on the greenhouse. We do not have a top on it. The humidity here this morning is already 98%. And I want to show you something about a greenhouse in the south. People talk about it. No top yet. Look at here. Can you see that? Look at it. You see those finger marks?
Yep.
All this here, look at that. That's how heavy the humidity is here, guys. It is perfectly sunny this morning, but the humidity is like 98%. No top on the greenhouse, and it's already sweating on the plastic.
It's about 6 o'clock in the late evening, and we're going to attempt to put the plastic on. Danny's got 2 ropes thrown over. We've got to have a couple of blocks to hold the plastic down. The wind is not blowing. That's why we chose this time of the day. And we're going to see if we can put this together before it gets dark. We're going to see how much plastic we can get done.
Wanda and I are back out here again this morning, working on the greenhouse. Guys, we was up till 9 o'clock last night putting the plastic on this greenhouse in the dark. So we don't have a lot of footage of us actually doing the work. It turned out to be more than we anticipated. We really needed a couple extra people to put the plastic over this high of a greenhouse. Had I not designed the inside the way I did, we would not have been able to do it with just the 2 of us. As you can see this morning, we have it on. We're at the point now where we're fixing to do the roll-up sides. We've connected our pipe together with our Tech screws. we've allowed 1 foot of overhang on each end of the greenhouse for the handles for the roll-up part. Now we're going to be, because it's so long, you can see it's really a long pipe. It's like 40 feet long almost, and it's going to be virtually impossible for Wanda and I to be able to roll this thing up like we need to. So what we're going to do is we're going to take in the middle down here and we're going to put some duct tape on the pipe and the plastic together and see if we can't help to hold it as we try to start rolling it so that it doesn't get out of line and get crooked on us and everything like that. It's going to be difficult on this hillside. Grower Solutions with the greenhouse kit sends some clamps that snaps around the pipe and the plastic together once you get it where you need it at to hold it in place. And there's 10 clamps down each side. So we're going to go ahead and lay the clamps out kind of evenly spaced down through here so that once we get the plastic on the pipe, we can snap these on there. Okay, this is the clamp right here that goes with it. It's about 3 inches long. It's made to snap around the 1.75-inch pipe. It's got little hooks on the outside of it here. If I could turn it around, we can see the end of it, like that. So we're fixing to begin to start snapping these on the pipe once we get the plastic rolled up on it. All right, Wanda and I have now successfully got this rolled into the pipe, and man, is it a job. Don't ever let anybody fool you with the longer the greenhouse, when there's only 2 of you working, the harder the job. It would have took 4 people to have done this easily. One of the main things we learned, we put it up, had to take it all back down, was the way you roll the plastic. If you roll the plastic the wrong way, what happens is water can come down the plastic and get in behind in here, like on this back side. We originally had it rolled in the other direction, and this was the outside. And we realized that water was going to get down in here and it was going to trap in it, and it would mold and stay green and nasty all the time, so we had to take it all back off, and we had to roll it in the opposite direction so that when the water hits this and runs down, it just sheds off. This is not in any instructions anywhere. That's something that needs to be mentioned, that when you put this up, roll it up counterclockwise. Don't roll it clockwise, because if you do, you're going to have problems. Now, this is hanging over on the end like this. We will eventually come back and cut this plastic right here back, because if we don't, what will happen, wind's going to catch this and push out like this, and we're going to constantly have a wind issue. So we left a little hanging over because in the winter months, you're going to be wanting to put the wiggle wire track in here. So you're going to want to have a little bit of extra. Now we may not leave this much hanging over, but we're going to leave a little hanging over so we have some room for the wire going in the wiggle wire track to be able to hold it during the winter months. But it's summertime, and we're probably going to leave it rolled up the whole time. Now we're not putting the handles in this end just yet. We're going to move over to the other end, and we're going to get that one done, and then we'll install the handles in the ends. All right, Wanda and I have now got this side, the roll-up side pipes in and clamped, and everything's ready to go on this end. Now comes the part of the strapping of the building. They send you a roll of black strapping here. It's about 2 inches wide, I'm guessing. It's a product that I can tell just by looking at the end of it when I cut it. I'm probably going to have to heat it and melt it a little bit to keep it from maybe unrolling and getting all frayed up. So we're going to be taking this to start with, because we don't know how many of the strips we can put across the building. So what we're going to do is we're going to do every other bow in between it over the building right now to see how much we actually have left, because we don't want to go and cut a bunch of short pieces to go on this right here and then not have enough to reach over the top of the greenhouse. So we're going to do our long runs first, and then we'll do our short runs down the sides here. So that's going to be the first thing. Now we're going to be using a little propane torch. When we cut this, we're going to take a propane torch and just lightly heat the end of it and kind of melt it, so that it doesn't try to ravel out on us or anything on the ends. Okay, y'all see me throw something over there. What we have here This is called a tarpaulin clamp. You squeeze it on the side, slide that back, and these jaws will open up. And then, like if you take the end of our strap here, you fold it over, you slide it on there like that, and you push that thing back down, it locks it. Now all we got to do is go over to the other side and just pull this, and hopefully it's just going to take it right over the greenhouse without a problem. There's no sharp edges on this or anything to tear a hole in something, so we're going to see if it works. Okay, what we done was the hoops are 4 feet apart. What we done was we come from the center of the hoop over on the plastic here, and we took our magic marker and we marked a 2-foot mark. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the strapping and we're going to fold it under about 1.5 inches. That doubles it up right there. Then we're going to take our, get down here, we're on a hillside working here. We're going to take our screw. This is a deck torque screw for treated wood with a fender washer. Now we've pushed it through. We're going to take it and we're going to stay right below our wiggle wire track. We're going to take our drill. We're going to run it down good and tight. Now we're going to go over to the other side. We're going to pull it down, we're going to mark it where to cut it, and we're going to do that one. You get ready to start your greenhouse, go invest in a good pair of Husky scissors from a hardware store. I promise you, these are titanium. You will not regret it. We're going to fix the ends of this. Now stay away from your plastic with a torch. You're way off out here. Kind of heat it up a little bit. There we go.
And don't let it go.
Don't let it get back against your plastic, yeah. Turn this back off.
Because it stays hot for a while.
It stays hot for a little while. It's already cooled off now though. Pull it down good and tight. All right. That's all there are to it. Right there, that helps to tighten up the plastic between your bows so that when the wind's blowing, your plastic don't get to flopping up there and it mess around and tear it somewhere. So that's a safety precaution, and we thank Growers Solution for actually having that with their greenhouse or their high tunnel, and it's going to save the plastic over time. Candy. Okay, we're taking our strapping once we've heated the end of it and kind of melted it, and we're folding it back about 1 inch, 1.5 inches. And I'm taking the treated deck screws with the fender washer, just like on the other strapping, and I'm just kind of like pushing it through. Go ahead and push it all the way through. Don't try to screw it through it, because the threads will grab this stuff and it'll just twist it and tie it up in a knot. And I'll take it down. I'm going to go about 2 inches below, and I can't put it right where my wiggle wire is here. I'm going to move it over, and the reason for that is right here. We have our wiggle wire track coming down here, so I have to move over about 2 inches to install it. So we're going to do the same thing down here. Okay, we've got that. Then what I'll do is I just pull it up, and this is my top wiggle wire track. I usually go about 1 inch above it. And I take my scissors and I cut it there. And then while I've got it to that point, I just kind of like lay them both out. I take my little propane torch And I've learned if I heat one side a little bit, and then flip it over and heat the other side a little bit, and kind of do that back and forth a couple of times, that's basically all it takes to keep the ends from raveling. Now I'll stick it up and I'll kind of fold it, and I get it about a half an inch below that top wiggle wire track, and I just hold it. Take another screw and a fender washer and just go ahead and just shove it through it. Now I've learned if I put them up and I put the screw at a little bit of an upward angle, it pulls this strap really tight. So that's what I like. There we go. That strap is nice and tight. Okay, we've got all the straps down this side on now. The purpose for that is when we put our handle in here, allow us to be able to roll this whole thing up, and it won't, the wind can't grab it and jerk it out, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
All right.
All we'll have to do right there. Just a minute. Yeah, if I let go of mine, it'll let down naturally.
Okay.
We let it down, we just have to let it back down. But...
Wow. One person can do it down. Two people to up, but one can let it down.
One can let it down.
It's pretty cool. This one's got to be out of the way. Are you already there? Down.
Right there, Hope. Okay, everyone, we've got the plastic on the greenhouse. We've got all the strapping on but one piece. We're going to get that on this coming week. I hope you've enjoyed the putting the plastic on the greenhouse. It has been a joy to us to build this thing. Hang with us, guys, because in the very near future, we're going to give you a complete tour of the greenhouse and its completion and everything that we've put in it. Thank you from Deep South Homestead.